Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. We have some news, but before we get into that, I just want to, as usual, take a moment to ask you guys that if you are interested in this type of content, to hit that subscribe button down below, as well as the bell next to it to be notified of any videos that I post here on the channel so you can stay up to date on everything dinosaur related, and also make sure you hit that thumbs up because every time you do that, it helps the channel out greatly. So anyway, on with the news. The very first thing that I have for you guys is actually from Creative Beast Studio and the Beasts of the Mesozoic, as David Silva has recently posted the big gallery of the 1/35th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex model, and I could not be more in love with this. The entire model is just so incredibly well done. We had seen one image of this prior as far as the fully painted prototype goes, and I'm so psyched to see the full gallery because we have some really nice close-up images of the model, and we've known this entire time leading into this gallery that the sculpt was fantastic, but you can only truly tell how beautiful a model will be. I mean, obviously you could see with the sculpt how beautiful it will be, but you can't truly tell how beautiful it will be until you actually see the paint application on it, and you can get a good idea of what you yourself will be receiving when you order it. And this Tyrannosaurus is just drop dead gorgeous. I feel like David Silva has done an incredible job as far as both, of course, the sculpt, but choosing the paint job for this. And it's something that personally, has a really nice bit of flashiness to it, and I always like darker tones of color on my dinosaurs, especially when it comes to like a big Tyrannosaurus. I would expect it to have like darker colors to it, but he has found a way to include flashiness, and it's something that he always does, but include flashiness on a nice coloration that looks really natural on the figure overall. So this is a very exciting reveal as far as this full gallery goes, and a beautiful model for sure that I personally cannot wait to get my hands on. Unfortunately, the Kickstarter hasn't even begun yet, so it'll be a very long time before we actually get this one in hand, but I'm absolutely going to be counting the days until I do. And then in the last news video, I promoted the fact that Marco Makes and Rod's Random Work was working together to create some brand new Velociraptor replacement heads for the Amber Collection figures. Well, Marco has just recently unveiled a whole bunch of images of basically what the tiger-striped version of the Velociraptor from Mattel should have looked like, and as well, of course, with the replacement head on it. So this will help to give you a good idea of how incredible the replacement heads on the Amber Collection figures look. But man, is this insanely awesome. Like, at this point, I have never been more convinced of the fact that Marco and Rod should both be working for Mattel to really give us fans, again, what we want, because this is exactly what Marco says. It is what the Lost World Velociraptor should look like and should have looked like from Mattel. This is so beyond perfect as far as both the tones of color that he's used on it and the sculpt itself, as far as like that head sculpt really matching up to the Lost World style Velociraptor. It just looks insanely gorgeous and so much better than the actual version that we did get from Mattel. Again, I really so badly wish that they were working for Mattel to give us this type of a figure when it comes to the Amber Collection releases, but as per usual, if this is something you are interested in as far as like that replacement head sculpt goes, you can contact Marco or Rod's Random Work to inquire further about purchasing the head sculpt, the replacement head sculpts for your Amber Collection Raptors, because this Raptor has never looked better with that beautiful head sculpt. And then as far as Prime 1 Studios goes, we got a whole bunch of images of their upcoming 1/38th scale Tyrannosaurus Rex model, as well as actually their Carnotaurus, but we'll take a look at the Tyrannosaurus first, and I will say it looks gorgeous, like so much better than their first Tyrannosaurus, which in a way is kind of sad because the first Rex was meant to be Rexy from Jurassic Park, young, healthy, and looking big, and very intimidating. However, I think that they have just improved so much over time that this sculpt, obviously replicating Rexy from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, just looks so much better than the initial one did. And one downside to the initial one was that the paintwork wasn't that great, and I'm really hoping that that won't be the case on this one, because the paintwork that I see on this is so unbelievably perfect as far as Rexy goes. Of course, the sculpt is insanely well done, perfectly portraying that moment in Fallen Kingdom where the Tyrannosaurus is kind of stepping on the throat of the Carnotaurus, letting out that roar right before the volcano explodes. So it's a really cool, very monumental moment from Fallen Kingdom that they have captured here in model form, and being the 1/38th scale, it should be a good bit cheaper than most of their statues usually are. And again, it's just so gorgeous that this is one that I don't think I'll be able to skip out on. I did miss the initial Rex, although I've been kind of debating on picking it up for quite some time now. I just haven't actually pulled the trigger, but this one I honestly don't think I can say no to. And this is actually supposed to be going up for pre-order today. However, I do believe it has been delayed for like a week or so. But then we also have the Carnotaurus, and this Carnotaurus is just as drop-dead beautiful as the Tyrannosaurus is. I have never seen a more picture-perfect interpretation of the Fallen Kingdom Carnotaurus ever. Like, this is just so awesome as far as the sculpt, perfectly replicating the Carnotaurus from that film, but the paint job as well. And again, it's another one of those moments where I'm truly hoping and keeping my fingers crossed that the actual paint jobs, the factory released paint jobs, turn out just like the models that we see here. I know there obviously would be some drop in overall quality as far as the paint apps go. I don't expect it to look exactly like this, but as long as it can look, close to this, I'll be beyond happy. And there's no doubt in my mind that I will, without question, be pre-ordering this Carnotaurus when this pre-order does go live. I'm considering the Rex. I really want it, but I know for sure I'm going to buy the Carnotaurus. Just the Rex is still up in the air, but odds are I'll probably end up pre-ordering that one as well, because they're both insanely well done. But this Carnotaurus, in my opinion, being such a big fan of Fallen Kingdom, that is pretty much a dream come true. And then as far as PNSO goes, they have unveiled yet another new figure coming from them, and it will actually be releasing, I believe, on July 15th on the Amazon PNSO store, or at least I believe that's the date. This is, according to them, their Nanotyrannus. However, we are all probably familiar at this point with the fact that the Nanotyrannus isn't an actual species. It's just basically a juvenile Tyrannosaurus Rex, and I kind of feel like that was the intention here with this model, was to create a juvenile Rex, as we do have Andrea, the female Tyrannosaurus, coming from PNSO soon. We already have Wilson, the male, and the paint scheme of this is just too similar, in my opinion, to Wilson and obviously the female version to really be anything other than meant to be the juvenile in that family. And I love the fact that PNSO has gone out and created basically a family of Tyrannosaurs for us to have in our collection. Definitely another beautiful release from PNSO, and one that I cannot wait to add to my collection. And then as far as Mattel goes, and thanks to Collect Jurassic for these images and information, but we actually have some really cool brand new images of the upcoming budget figures that they will be releasing. As far as there's a few different species. They have 3 different ones here that are kind of like a smaller size as opposed to the previous releases from Mattel, and I'm really excited to see these dinosaurs getting a release in this style, because it'll be nice to have a smaller version of a Carnotaurus and a Tyrannosaurus. And obviously we can see here on the packaging they're called Sound Surge figures, so we can see the Tyrannosaurus right here in the packaging as well as the Rex next to it. Looks really cool, and I'm so psyched to have again this smaller sized Rexy, because it's not something that we've had prior to this. There's also a Carnotaurus that we have in this size range, so of course I'll be desperately searching for this one for sure. And again, another really cool looking figure that I would love to add to my collection. And then the final one would be the green Baryonyx. I'm just terrified that these will be a little bit harder to find. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that won't be the case, but knowing how sketchy the Mattel distribution can be at times, I just feel like these ones are going to be a pain to get a hold of. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that will not be the case, because they look fantastic. And then we also have some more inbox images of a few other figures, and we have one here which is obviously the Ben and Ankylosaurus Bumpy set, which I think is really awesome and probably one of my most anticipated sets coming from the Camp Cretaceous line as far as like these human and dinosaur sets, because I really love Ben in the show. I think he's awesome in Camp Cretaceous, and I love Bumpy in the show as well, as most people do. So to have both of those figures get released together in one set is really cool. And then we have that awesome new looking Monolophosaurus with the resculpted head, and Kenji and his scooter that we have there, which this looks incredibly cool as well. And I honestly think that the Monolophosaurus may have never looked better from the Mattel line, so that is a super exciting release yet again coming from them. And we also have some Wild Pack images as we have a look at the Alioramus repaint in package, which looks really cool. I'm unsure quite yet if I like this one better than the initial release. I feel like it might be one that I'll have to see in person, but I can definitely say that this inbox image right here definitely has me liking it more than the previous images had me liking it. And then we have the baby Brachiosaurus, which is one of the most exciting upcoming wild packs. Personally, my most anticipated would be the Zuniceratops, but this baby Brachiosaurus is gorgeous looking as well. Beautiful paint apps on it also, so some really cool stuff that we are all looking forward to from the Mattel line. And then a huge thank you goes out to Dino Mike Mac for this information, but there is actually going to be another 5-pack of the basic Jurassic World figures, which we can see here. But these are the 6-inch assortment as opposed to the 12-inch ones that we've seen out previously. And this one we can obviously see includes a Stygimoloch as well as a Velociraptor Blue, a green Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Indominus, and an orangish raptor. So definitely something that I would like to pick up, but I'm having an insanely hard time finding any of these smaller basic figures. They're just so hard to find in my area. Actually, I would say non-existent. So if this is something that any of you encounter out in the wild and you would like to help a fellow collector out, let me know, because odds are I probably won't find this in my area because the stores that these usually show up are not existent in my area. I just don't have those stores, so it's something that I would love to pick up if possible. And another really cool set yet again coming from Mattel, which is no surprise because they're just flooding us with awesome stuff. And the final thing I have, and it is from Mattel, is actually the reveal that they have just unleashed upon us today of the Mattel Creations Jurassic Park's final scene Ray Arnold set. And it is incredibly cool. Again, this is a beautiful set coming from Mattel, but this set will actually only be available for a limited time on Mattel Creations. It will actually be available for sale on Thursday, July 22nd at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific or 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, exclusively on MattelCreations.com, and according to Collect Jurassic, the price will only be $25, so a really good price for something as cool as this. And you can see in general how beautiful this is. It's, of course, got the brand new smaller Ray Arnold figure as well as a repainted Velociraptor. The scene of Ray Arnold meeting his demise where the arm soon falls off onto Ellie Sattler's shoulders. So we kind of have a set here displaying what had actually happened in that scene, and poor Ray Arnold, again, never made it out of the Velociraptor's grasp, but a super cool looking scene that I honestly think is beyond beautifully displayed here on the part of Mattel. Again, Mattel, as per usual, just making dreams come true with their incredible releases, and this might be one of my favorite ones so far. Just absolutely unbelievable work. So make sure that you are ready and available to pre-order this again at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mattel Creations on July 22nd. Something like this will usually sell out within minutes, and of course there will be plenty of scalpers, I'm sure, just waiting to get a hold of it. So make sure you are on there ready to place an order at that exact time. So another awesome set again from Mattel that I just desperately need in my collection. So as of right now, guys, that's all the news I've got. When more comes out, I'll be sure to send it your way. But until then, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.